at least as I understand it, never a criminal investigation into what was known.
Yeah, I think they had to breach a plea deal of some sort.
This guy he can do the silly, nonsensical stuff and the dorky laughing and whatever. And then there's serious, substantive stuff. I want to show you one other clip of this because here they got into it about Big Pharma. And one of the things that I think has been so great over the last few months is the level of competency you're going to see in a Trump administration, from JD to some of the people he's going to put in there like RFK, and maybe how they could deal with our problem related to big pharmaceutical companies.
That's the thing that's I mean, like the Sackler family clearly got rich off of an extraordinary amount of human misery and death.
Yeah.
And there was never a criminal, at least as I understand it, never a criminal investigation into what was known.
Yeah, I think they had to breach a plea deal of some sort.
Okay.
As the nation continues to grapple with the Sackler family had agreed to pay $6 billion to families and states as part of an agreement to wind down Purdue Pharma, the maker of OxyContin. In exchange, the Sackler family would be immunized from future civil liability claims. Unreal.
Bobby Kennedy makes this point all the time, right? Like, good. Some pharmaceuticals are good for us, but some actually it's not totally clear whether we're taking them just because it makes people money. And this is like, let me give you a concrete example, right? So, you know, there's obviously this big like debate about transgender issues, and you don't have to wade into that. But what really worries me is when you've got pharmaceutical companies that are making billions of dollars on hormonal therapies for kids. And are we really being smart about whether this is good for the kids, about whether it causes long-term consequences? And why is nobody saying, well, wait a second, the people who are lobbying us to give these drugs to kids are also getting rich off of it?
Right.
I mean, right there. Let's move away from the financial part of it for a second. Just dealing with, like, you could see, you think he hates trans kids, if that exists? Do you think he's really has no empathy for someone who might be gender confused or biologically confused or going through puberty or any of those things? Like, he's trying to show you, like, oh, there's some stuff to talk about. But then beyond the stuff to talk about at the human level about gender confusion and everything else, there are companies that are making insane amounts of money drugging our children and drugging the adults with a whole different series of things, like Oxy and the rest of it, and Ozempic and blah, blah, blah. And then there's the human part of it. So we want to be sympathetic to the human part while also dealing with the conflicting issues around these companies that come in and get us hooked on all of these things.